Hello, and thank you for joining us today on the Rising Generation Leadership Podcast with me, Errol Lawson. If this is your first time here, we want to welcome you. If you're an organizational leader or manager in church-based ministry, in business, in academia, then you're definitely in the right place. In addition to hosting the Rising Generation Leadership Podcast, I also offer one-to-one and group coaching for leaders and leadership teams that want to improve their effectiveness and become more productive and increase their performance. Inspirational, entertaining, and engaging keynote talks that will help shift the mindset of your leaders and bring about the organizational culture that you really desire. For more information or to book a free, no obligation consultation to see whether we're the right fit for each other, simply drop me an email today at errol@errollawson.com, and I'd love to have a chat with you. Thank you for listening. Enjoy today's show. Hello and welcome again to the Rising Generation Leadership Podcast with me, Errol Lawson, and my special guest today is Nyasha Gwatidzo. Nyasha was born in Zimbabwe and gained a degree in chemistry from London University. She then went on to retrain at Reading University and gained an MA to work with adults and children with emotional issues. She's a qualified psychotherapist, social worker, coach, and mentor. And she's a social entrepreneur, working with disadvantaged people in the UK and Africa. And she now runs a multi-million-pound social enterprise called Banya, which finds foster families for children in the care of local authorities. She founded the charity in the UK, Vana Trust, which raises funds for children affected by HIV and AIDS in Zimbabwe, supporting their education. The trust also supports adults and young people here in the UK who have learning and emotional difficulties through her organic farm in Buckinghamshire. Her vision for the future is to forge global connections with women in the developing world who inspire her every day. She would like them to reach economic independence through enterprise, and she currently mentors African women starting up in business. Now she's won a variety of business awards, and she lives in Buckinghamshire with her husband and has 3 adult children. Nyasha, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you, Errol, for such a wonderful introduction.
It's great to have you. Hey, before we start our interview proper, take a moment to fill in any gaps in your bio right there, if you will, and then give us a glimpse into your world and what you're up to right now.
Oh, I'm actually now, while I'm talking to you, I'm now in Jersey on half term with my grandson. Mm-hmm. I've got a grandson who is 7, okay, and my niece's daughter. So we're having a lovely time. It's nice and sunny, and we've just been to the beach.
Awesome.
And tomorrow we're going to be looking at some flats and houses. So we're doing some recce.
Awesome.
Yeah. So what I'm doing at the moment, I'm setting up mentoring program for people who want to set up their social enterprise journey, mm-hmm, or people who are running their social enterprises already and they want to grow it with some support from someone who's been there, who's done it all.
That's great. Tell us a story then about how you actually began doing what you're doing right now, and how did you know this is what God had called you to do?
Well, I've been so lucky to have been born with knowing what my purpose in life is. I've always loved children from very young age. You would see me at the age of 4 carrying a baby on my back in Zimbabwe, and it's always been my passion to anything to do with children and babies has always been my passion. And then I had I was going to become, I feel it was a distraction on the journey. I was going to be an academic and study chemistry up to PhD level, and I did 1 year.
Wow.
And it was my chemistry tutor, my supervisor of my thesis, who actually gave me literature about psychotherapy and social work, because he just said, Nyasha, you always look, when you start talking about children, of the voluntary work I was doing at the time, mm-hmm, and people, you seem to be much more interested. He said you light up when you start talking about people and children. So that's how I went.
Wow. I
my
mean,
own
building a
passion.
business that's a multi-million pound social enterprise is no mean feat. Where did it start for you? How did it
When
start?
did, when did it start?
Yeah, how it started, how it began, and
Oh,
how
it
you
was
got off the
really,
ground.
I started, it was really from my therapy training. I decided to set up a therapeutic children's home in South London, in Lambeth, and it was only 6 kids. And then from there, I saw a lot of advert from local government asking for foster carers to look after unaccompanied minors. So I applied and I looked after some children for Westminster, and it was 3 boys from Ethiopia, and they were brothers. And I fostered them until their mother turned up one day at the airport. And it
Wow.
was that really thinking that, wow, when I came to this country, I had my family. I just can't imagine coming this country without your family. So I've always been quite passionate about that. So it was just really a graduation from children's home. Then I set up my fostering agency in my kitchen, um, in my kitchen table, and that's where it started 21 years ago.
Wow. And was there a turning point for you at any time on your journey? Like a point maybe you were heading in one direction and something happened that caused you to go in a different direction altogether. Can you tell us that story?
I mean, for me, I was going to become, an academic, and I was pursuing the chemistry route. And the turning point was having this tutor who just saw my passion. I used to go there once a week to talk to him,
Yeah.
and I used to say, he used to ask me, "What have you been doing?" I said, "This is what I'm doing at the doctor's surgery." And he just, at the end of the year, yeah, that was a big turning point
Wow.
uh, on that level, to retrain myself completely to work with what I've always been passionate with from a professional point of view.
So it was really about pursuing your passion. I
It's
just think,
really, I really
yeah.
do think that I'm so lucky to have a purpose. I've been born with one, because some people don't know why they're on this earth, and that's why it's quite, quite a
So,
struggle to
so what
try and
about
work.
what about the other skills that you must have needed to have in terms of running a business? How did you develop those skills, or did you get others on your team, or
Uh,
how did you
the,
cover
the,
that?
the the main one was, I've never run a business, but my parents were quite entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
and so I had seen them about running their very informal businesses where they were selling their tomatoes, or selling their wares. My mom used to make a lot of clothes she used to sell when I was little. So I quickly, because I was coming from a chemistry background, I wasn't faced by forms and numbers. So I was able to do numbers, and I was a treasurer actually for a charity before that. So I soon got hold of that I needed an accountant. So on the skills I didn't have formal skills, I found helpers.
Okay. Okay. And what's been your biggest challenge so far in your leadership journey?
My biggest challenge at the beginning was to open a bank account, and you would find it very strange how that can be a big problem. But I couldn't find a bank to open it when I started. They just didn't understand the. This was me trying to set up a social entrepreneur enterprise well before it was fashionable. Nowadays, if you say you run a social enterprise, people know what you're talking about. But 21, 22 years ago, they just didn't understand it. So I had, right at the end of me going to all the high street, I had Barclays Bank open a bank account for me. And they said, Nyasha, we cannot allow you. We don't know what this is about, but we're going to take the risk and open a bank account so that you can operate.
That's
But
great.
you're not allowed to be £1 overdrawn. Until today, that's still a challenge. I don't have an overdraft facility.
Wow, 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 wow.
Recently, I went to start another company, and I still don't have a bank account, and it's still a challenge. And I just feel that 30 years later, it's still a real challenge to open a bank account. And this is really, I think, it's racist and sexist. It's a black woman trying to do something new, and they don't understand it. So they don't open the bank account. And when they do give you a bank account, they don't give you an overdraft facility. In my personal bank account, I had, when I was a student then, I had £250 overdraft facility, this personal account. In my commercial business, within a year, had a turnover of £1 million. I was not allowed to have £1 overdrawn.
Wow.
It just sounds incredible.
That's great success, though, to get to that stage of growth in 1 year. I mean, what were your overheads like, though, in that first year?
My out of that 1 million, 20-25% was the profit.
Okay.
Because I had 25 members of staff who had to look after these children 24/7.
Okay. Wow.
There was a huge overhead. The biggest overhead was the members' wages.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you seriously fired up about growing as a leader in business or church-based ministry? Are you feeling somewhat frustrated about not having realized your full potential in what you've been called to do? Could you do with someone to help you get some extra clarity or to be a sounding board for your plans and ideas? Great athletes have coaches, so do great leaders. The right leadership coach for you will result in an increased sense of clarity, direction, and purpose, dramatically increasing the results you achieve. If you're ready to step up, contact Errol to book a free, no-obligation introductory coaching session and see whether Errol is the right coach for you. Errol takes the lessons learned from his own leadership journey and from his extensive research to help leaders and entrepreneurs to step into their biggest challenges and rise to their next level. Email admin@errollawson.com right now to schedule your call.
So how do you now define success at this stage in your journey?
It's really funny. My accountant told me once, Nyasha, success is when your bank manager takes you out for lunch. Because I phoned him and he said to me, where have you been today? I said, my bank manager took me out for lunch. And he said, Nyasha, that is a sign of success. So being able to manage your own diary, doing your own thing, is success for me.
That's good. And what's your biggest weakness as a leader?
I think I'm too soft. I think I'm too soft. I don't go around beating my chest that I'm too shy. I remember once a 12-year-old walking into my children's home, and she said, "Who is the boss around here?" And it really took me a few minutes to say it to her, because I was just thinking it was such a strange concept that I am the boss. It just is. I can't get used to that. But I'm quite clear that the buck, lies with me.
Yeah.
And I'm quite clear about the responsibility, which is on me as a leader. But it's just about going around, just boasting about and telling people I'm the boss, and I just don't like it.
So what's the biggest strength as a leader?
For me, it's determination. That's my biggest. I'm motivated with my purpose and my passion in life. And I'm so determined. Sometimes I think, oh God, I need to know which battles to fight. It's just self-determination, self-driven. I don't need anyone to drive me. And that's a big. I think that's the biggest strength for me. Energy. It gives me energy.
And at the beginning of your leadership journey, when you're just starting out, what, if anything at all, was holding you back from going into leadership?
Myself.
What do you mean by that?
It's about it's a fear of yourself, really, and thinking, who do I think I am to be the leader? Self-doubting and thinking, someone is gonna actually find out that it's all fake. I'm just putting up a front. But it's self-fear. It wasn't anything else. There's not really something in life which I'm which I'm scared of, that besides my own dreams.
It's good. It's good, man. And
Yeah.
just looking back over your journey, I guess, who have been, if there are three people, who have been your top three most significant mentors on your journey so far that have helped you to grow and achieve the success you've already achieved this year, well, in your business?
I think my mentor. When I was starting out in my journey, there wasn't even the word coach or mentor. It didn't exist. But I think I had virtual mentors of people or women leaders who I was aware of, and I was following their profile. And one of the main was Anita Roddick.
Okay.
I really liked her values. She was passionate about the environment. I used to follow her up, and wherever she was, I just used to want to know more about what she's doing and what she's read. So she was my virtual leader. And another woman who I'm still in touch with today, I don't know whether you know her, Lynn Franks. Again, was very much talking about women doing business the feminine way and not having to do it the men's way, and really respecting your femininity and not beating up your chest. So I've actually met, I'm actually quite good friends with her because I followed her profile a lot and I've attended quite a lot of her workshops. And then later on now I've had Carmelita as a mentor. I've had Yvonne Thompson, as she's mentored me to write my book. So I've sort of tapped into other people's skills and support at different times, but it's very late on in my journey.
Awesome.
But the main people I learn from every time, and they're so inspiring to me, is the children I look after. The children in care, their stories, what they go. They're just fantastic survivors, and the carers who come to me who come to come forward to look after them. They're really my unsung heroes. They're just incredible. I learn a lot from them.
It's brilliant. Let me dig a little bit deeper into those relationships and ask from each of those individuals, what has been the best piece of advice you've received from each one of them?
I think it's been, Anita Roddick, she writes a lot about going with your passion and from hunger. And she said, your passion is the driver, and that's from that driver that gives you the energy for you to move forward.
Okay.
As if you were really. And
can I ask you, before you continue, let me just ask you, like, there's a young person out there listening right now, and they're not sure about how they discover their passion, how they find and tap into that passion. Can you just speak to them for us and give them some advice, some guidance?
I would definitely think that if you're doubting if you've got an idea or if you're not sure, I would go back to when you were little, really little. If your earliest memory when you were a child, what was it you were doing which was making you happy? What used to make you smile? And if you can't remember what it was like as a child, think about today as an adult. What was the last film you watched? Did it make you cry? Did it make you laugh? What was the topic of that film which made you cry? And normally, if you look deeper in that's where your passion is. And for me, it's about children. If I remember when the happiest I was with a baby on my back, so I knew immediately. And it could be anything. It's really touching, getting in touch with your early memories and what made you happy at that time, and why did you not pursue it? Because sometimes it's family pressure that you need to be a doctor, accountant, whatever else, and so might have been something artistic or something you were interested in, and it wasn't the norm of the family to do or for you to pursue it at that time. You need to go back to it, go back to those happy memories and do something which makes you happy.
It's great. It's great. Awesome. Awesome. And you're saying that your mentors. So you mentioned the first one. Find that passion. Dig into that passion. Live from that place of passion and purpose. And second person.
I think from Lynn, it was mainly to do with not trying to emulate male role models in the business world.
Okay.
Being in touch with your femininity, you as a woman, and using that strength from being a true woman. That was the main message I got from her.
Okay.
Celebrating our strength as women. Then from the third, I'm just trying to think what with Yvonne Thompson, it was mainly about, the focus was the book, and just go for it. It's what my story was. I was writing about a walk I did. I walked the length of the River Thames, and she said that story needs to be recorded as a story.
Okay.
And at the end of it, it had an inspirational message. And one of them was taking the first step. You've got to take the first step. And at the end, I ended with celebrating on the last day, was celebrating the ending of the walk. It was 206 miles. And and I said, I'm not very good about celebrating my success. And I think it's to do with my shyness. And so I'm actually asking other people to give me ideas. And I thought, my mom just says, buy yourself flowers. Don't wait for a man to buy them. And if you want, you've got a small win. That you don't have to wait for something big to happen. You just celebrate the small wins.
It's great. It's brilliant, man. Brilliant. Thank you for that. And we're almost done now, right? But what is the one thing you're most fired up about right now?
Oh, as I said, the main thing I'm fired up at right now is to do with these children coming in from Calais, and what my agency can do to help. And talking to my carers, do you have a spare room? Is there anything you can do to help these unaccommodated minors coming into the country? That's what's on my mind. It's on the news, it's everywhere.
Wow.
So it's something I'm dreaming about every day.
Wow.
That's one thing. The other bit of myself I'm really fired up about, I'm just finishing my first program about mentoring other budding social entrepreneurs. And they're really my new babies now. I still love babies, but I've got new babies.
Where do they come from? Where do these people come from? And how? Is it for anybody? Or
they get hold of me through my LinkedIn, my webinars I'm doing.
Okay.
And I've got people from all over the world joining my program. So I'm just coming to, next week is last of this 8-week program, and I'm gonna start another one in the new year.
Okay. Great. So anyone can get in touch with you on the internet. How do we find out more about you? In fact, before that question, is there a book or a resource you'd recommend to a leader or entrepreneur that's listening right now?
Oh God, there's so many books. I've written a book myself.
Okay.
It's called Walk With Me, through 16 inspirational life and business quotes. And there's so many books. I've read so many books. I mean, the other book I've been reading recently is it's called 4-Hour Week by Tim Ferriss, and he's talking about how you can reduce your. He's really going against the idea of time management. He's just saying you should automate the whole thing, and I'm really interested in it at the moment. There's so many interesting. Anita wrote a book. It's sort of my Bible. Business Most Unusual. It's a very good book. I've read so many books. I never thought I'll write a book, but that's another thing I'm doing now. Since I've written my first book last year, I've got so many books I'm writing now. So that's another passion I'm doing at the moment, writing books and giving other people tips and inspiration for them, that if I can do it, you can do it as well.
It's brilliant. Fantastic. And where do we find out more about you? How do we connect with you? Do you have a website?
I have loads of websites. The website for fostering is banya.co.uk, which is BANYA. And then I've got a website, Walk With Me, network.com. Then I've got my personal website, which is nyashagwatidzo.com. And then my charity is called Vana Trust.org.uk. I've got so many websites. I think they're all interlinked. If you find one, you'll find me. If you Google me, you'll find me.
Okay.
Yeah, and my book is on Amazon.
Nice. Brilliant. Guys, go and check out all those resources. We're going to have the links for you in the show notes on this page right here. Connect with Nyasha. Connect if you want some support, some help. You want to partner with her in any way. Maybe you're in, I know a lot of our listeners are in Africa and in Kenya in particular. If you're listening from Kenya, go get in touch with Nyasha. Wherever you are in the world, I know she'd love to offer her support, mentorship to you. And there's so much you can learn from her. You've heard her story. She went from being from a kitchen table with a passion to now building a multi-million dollars, pound rather, national business. All right. So go get in touch, guys. Nyasha, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your insight, your perspective with us. God bless you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you, man.
Bye-bye.
Bless you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you again for joining us today on the Rising Generation Leadership Podcast. I pray you've been inspired, you've been lifted, you've been encouraged to take your personal leadership to the next level. We really encourage you guys to just take action, make it happen, do something, start somewhere, go out and change the world in some way, big or small. Guys, if you've enjoyed the podcast today, please share with your friends, share with your loved ones, your colleagues, someone out there you think might benefit from hearing this great content. And if you want some more questions answering, you got a question, email me, Errol@errollawson.com. Or if you want a free 30 to 45 minute coaching session with myself around a leadership challenge or issue you're working on in your business, your church, or in your organization, please feel free to email me right away. We'll get you booked in. It's Errol@errollawson.com. Thank you again for listening. Go to our iTunes page, check it out, check out the previous episodes. Give us a nice review. That would be awesome. Really appreciate if you could do that for us. We really appreciate you just for being here and listening. Thank you so much. God bless you, and we'll see you on the next episode of The Rising Generation.